Yet again, another offseason that we got to talk about Georgia football and not the light that I think that Kirby Smart wants us to be talking about his program in, as Nitro Tuggle and Marquez Easley, were arrested this past week due to some driving incidents. Now, I want to talk about Nitro Tuggle for just here before we get to the Easley kid. First off, I don't condone speeding. I don't condone breaking the law. I don't condone any of that. However, he was arrested and booked and brought to jail. Okay? He was released on a $26 bond. It costs more money to the taxpayer to release him and process him out versus bringing him to jail. Now, as someone who, before going and doing this full time, who spent a long time in law enforcement, this is what I'd say, and around attorneys, my literally 24/7, like literally working hand in hand with them in reference to what I used to do. This has got to be the stupidest shit I've ever seen. And got to be honest, I know that Kirby is trying to make he's trying to come out here and say, and put his foot down on this stopping. The Tuggle incident is not one of those that he should have put his foot down and suspended the kid, which he did suspend him. Joe, it's a ticket violation. It's write him a summons. Like, what are we doing on some of these incidents? So I will say this, okay? I don't condone, and there's been a lot that's going on. Some of these, by the way, are idiots, like idiotic. Like, remember there was one last offseason that the police officer confessed to not even seeing it, but being told that someone was speeding, and he wrote somebody a ticket. Like, come on with this. Now, the Easley situation where he wrecked into somebody's apartment, I can't defend that. Now, I don't know what else Kirby can do here. I do not know. I mean, he suspends the kids. Other than that, I don't know what to do, but yet it's another incident here.
Right, the drag racing situation with Easley, I don't know if he was racing anybody, but he was trying to, like, he was going way too fast around a corner, and that resulted in to spin out and crash into an apartment building. That was really stupid. I had trouble finding a lot of information on the Tuggle stuff. Like, I don't know how fast he was going. I don't know the context of, like, really what time of night it was. It seemed like it was late because he got out at, like, I think 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something along those lines. Anyone who remembers when we first started doing this show, I used to debate you on this like crazy, and I'm on the opposite side now. I'm in agreement with you because I just don't understand what is supposed to happen. Like, what is Kirby supposed to do to fix all this? It feels like on both ends it's extremely reactionary. It feels like because of the incident where there were deaths with Jalen Carter and that whole racing incident that occurred.
Agreed.
That it's reactionary by the police, that if they realize they've pulled over a Georgia player, that they need to take him into jail. And then now Kirby has to suspend these guys. Otherwise, there's going to be national backlash. I think a suspension is inappropriate for Tuggle. I think it was appropriate for Easley, who was a dumbass for crashing into an apartment building. They're almost separate incidents, which is why it's kind of dumb that they've gotten lumped in with one another, right?
Yes. Well, that's where I was going to go. The simple nature that they got lumped in together, number one, is dumb. To people that will listen to this, let's put it in perspective. Joe, with a $26 bond, that would mean that he's going 10, potentially 15 miles over the speed limit.
That's so this is where wait. I said this to you at the beginning of the show, and you told me this is not the case. I asked you how strict are driving laws in Georgia, and you said that they're not. The reason why I asked this, like, for a really good example, I have somebody that I know who was driving in Virginia and was in a hurry and was rushing to leave from somewhere and was like an hour away trying to get back to class. And they were going 100 miles an hour and they didn't see how fast they were going. And they got taken to jail because in Virginia, it is like, it's very strict if you go over 100 miles an hour. But on any highway in New Jersey, the left lane is filled with people going 100 miles an hour.
So they have an express lane in Georgia on arguably the most one of the biggest interstates in the country, in I-85. I'm being legitimate when I'm talking about this. There's got to be a sit-down conversation with the president of Georgia, the mayor of Athens and the police commissioner, or AKA police chief. It has to happen. If you, Joe, issue him a summons just to let you understand what has to happen here. The kid's vehicle has to be towed. So you go and bond him out for a $26 incident. After the $26 incident, he's got to go pay around $300 to $500 to get his car out of the impound. By the way, he's suspended. If he's issued a summons, he's not going to get suspended. I don't think that. Here's what people lump Tuggle in for, and I'll get to Easley in a minute. The Tuggle incident is arguably one of the smallest incidents that you can have when it comes to breaking the law. Again, put your foot down on Easley. Put your foot down on these incidents. Guys, a lot of you have sons, and a lot of you that just have children in general that will be listening to us live right now or in a clip video. You're legitimately going to let how would you feel about your son going to jail over a 10-mile-an-hour over speed limit? I got to be honest. I would be more than knowing what I know and coming from the world that I come from. That is absolutely ridiculous. Now,
that's what doesn't make sense to me, though. That like if that's theoretically how fast he was going, and he got
$26 bond. There is no other justification. I don't care what state you're in this country. A $26 bond. The paperwork to process him and bring that paperwork literally to the DA's office where it will go next cost the taxpayer more money to do what you did. It's a power trip. I've been around.
It is stupid. Yeah, this is
a power trip. Now, Easley, listen, at what point do somebody in that locker room, someone, it cannot come from Kirby. Listen, Joe, you've played it. I've played the game. The coaching staff cannot end this. It will not end from this coaching staff. Someone in that locker room has got to put their foot down and say, let's throw hands. Joe, listen, I know that sounds stupid. I know
anyone who's been in a locker room knows that's how things are resolved.
It's how things are resolved. And guess what? If the guy that's trying to make sure this ends wins that fight and he does it, it's over. I promise you, it's over with. That is how situations are ended. Why are you drag racing? Why?
I don't even think he was racing anyone. I think he had a teammate in the car, and then two members of the women's track team, I think is what I read, or two female athletes that were in the car as well. So he was just being a dumbass, trying to look all cool and shit, going around a turn. It's really dumb that he was doing it. I had brought this up when I talked to Sean about it on Hack City on Thursday. And I mean, I kind of just chalk it up to, like, we all had buddies that were dumbasses when they were 18, 19 years old that would always drive as fast as they could through neighborhoods, which is dumb. And that's kind of that all we have to look at is as. I agree with you, though. Like, there's nothing that Kirby can do to change the behavior. The only idea that I actually came up with today, like, what if there was some sort of NIL incentive for guys on the team? Right, you get like $500 a month, $1,000 a month every month that you don't get.
Well, hold on
speeding incident.
There is about to be an incentive. You can start when you start suspending players indefinitely. That TV revenue share money that you make every month stops.
Right. It's a fine, essentially. It basically becomes a fine. You're not getting paid if you're not showing up.
Correct.
That needs to be the way to do it.
Listen, I'm just going to tell you this. I've been at spring camp all offseason talking to administrators. I'll be blunt. I started asking about what happened with Brian Kelly in that SEC meeting with the Big Ten and Tony Batiti. I'm just going to throw this out there. Let something happen off the field with one of these players with TV revenue share. Watch what's gonna. You think they're gonna play? ESPN's gonna come and put the hammer down. It's gonna happen. And they all right, y'all. These kids gonna learn. They're gonna learn again. Though the Easley thing, it's stupid, absolutely dumb. Suspend him, kick him off the team. Do what you think you got to do.
He should be suspended. Yeah,
right. The Tuggle thing is absolutely stupid to me. I mean, again, guys, a lot of you have children. Joe, let's not even talk about our children. Could you imagine going to jail after going 10 miles over the speed limit?
It would be absurd. It would be like absurd. In general, though, when you've got guys that are teenagers that now have these super nice cars, most people and their kids are dumbasses, mostly men, probably not women, mostly men. They get a fast car, or they just get their own car. They want to feel like what it's like to go fast, but just show impatience when you're on the road. You're going to go 10 miles over the speed limit. It's just naturally what happens. Like, we can't. It does feel like it's a power trip. It legitimately does, and I think that there's clearly some sort of imbalance between the players and the police officers in the area that they treat them so disrespectfully.
As someone, again, who was in it, and I would debate any police officer, any federal agent that's out there, stop this bullshit. Like, again, I'm not trying to be overly political. I mean, I'm not. I've lived it. Joe, when I got in the business, especially when you move up in the ranks outside of state and local governments, the first thing that I was told, not everybody goes to jail. Even when it's a bad situation, not everybody goes to jail. You're there to be a peace officer. You're not there to bring an 18-year-old kid to jail for speeding. That is dumb.
Right.
Anyway, all right.